Everybody, what's up? It's me, Kajai, and I'm here with another astrological profile video. Here with my astro buddy, my homegirl, Pisces Moon Goddess, and we are going to be doing the natal chart of Miss Nadiya Shah. Really excited about that. Pisces Moon Goddess, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello.
All right, so you ready to jump into this chart?
Yes, let's get started.
All right, Nadiya Shah was born with the sun in Aquarius, Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, Venus in Capricorn, Moon in Sagittarius, Neptune in Sagittarius, Uranus in Scorpio, Pluto in Libra, Saturn in Cancer retrograde. She's a Mars and Gemini native like me. Our Mars are actually conjunct, and they're both at 15 degrees. And she has Jupiter in Aries, and she's a Cancer ascendant with a Pisces midheaven. So I'm going to like I always do, let my guests start it off. So go ahead. And we both just sort of picked out things about her chart that we both found interesting. I don't have a certain style when I'm reading charts. I just go with whatever catches my eye. So what caught your eye? What was the first thing that caught your eye?
Well, the first thing that caught my eye was her moon in Sagittarius, and I kind of had a feeling, a sense, by watching her videos that she has to have Sagittarius moon because a lot of Sagittarius moons have that happy-go-lucky demeanor. And she always says the universe is wise and loving. That's like one of her famous quotes. And Sagittarian people, it's really hard for them to be down and out, or at least show that. Usually pretty jovial, and they look at the world in like a big picture perspective, like, hey, everything is awesome, this is how I feel, and they just want to spread awesomeness to the world. So that's definitely something that my eyes were drawn to first in the chart. And she has her moon conjunct Venus. I mean, Venus is in Capricorn, moon in Sag, but they're conjunct by 5 degrees. So usually moon and Venus people are of a very sweet disposition as well, very loving. And, her moon and Venus are in the 6th house, along with Neptune. So what that tells me is when it comes to work environment, because the 6th house can rule that, she is very, emotionally affected by her work life, and it really means a lot to her emotionally. It brings her emotional fulfillment for things to be going right in her work life. And Neptune there tells me that she, can have like a Neptunian type of career, even though the 6th house is a career, it's work. She doesn't, even though it's like Capricorn is in that 6th house, she probably doesn't really like the 9 to 5 everyday type of routine job. Neptune in there, she has to have the type of career and job that she has right now, which is very Neptunian, So
Yeah, she also has a Pisces midheaven. So
yes, Pisces midheaven. Pisces is very into spirituality and things like that. Astrology will fall into that category. So definitely is in her chart to do what she does.
all right, the first thing that stood out to me was her grand trine in air. And it involves her Mars in Gemini, her Pluto in Libra, and her Sun in Aquarius. And not only is it a grand trine in air, but it's also a grand psychic trine because the planets involved are all in water houses, the 4th, 8th, and 12th, which in astrology, especially the 8th and the 12th, are the occult houses, the houses of the unknown, where we have those otherworldly experiences. And because this grand trine is in air, air is all about communication and, talking, gathering information, just wanting to know any and everything. So this first tells me she's definitely an intellectual. She has a very restless mind. And because this energy is flowing through, these particular houses, the 4th, 8th, and the 12th, she loves communicating about those things and what they have in common, and what those three houses all have in common with each other is that they affect us all on a very personal core level. Those three houses are, connected to our inner being. So with this energy touching these houses, I feel like it enables her to receive information from the other side, from, the cosmos, and she's able to intellectualize it and communicate it in a way to where everyone can understand it. There's no blockage or misinterpretation with her words or what she's teaching. She's able to explain, higher esoteric things to any and everybody on all kinds of level, where she doesn't sound like, an idiot. Like sometimes when I'm trying to explain astrology to people, I'm just like, oh, how can I really just explain this to you in a way to where you get it? I'm pretty sure she doesn't have that problem with this, grand trine and air, especially touching those three houses. So that is the first thing that stood out to me that I found very exciting about her chart.
Well, yeah, and speaking of communication, her Mercury is in Capricorn and it's in the seventh house. So that also really allows her to be able to communicate about these subjects in a way that's like it really shows her educational background. She always mentions that she has an MA, I believe, an MA in cultural cosmology and divination. So I know it's a bunch of big words, long. Pretty
She
much,
knows what it means.
yeah, pretty much she went to school to study astrology and got a degree that really helped her excel and exceed her knowledge in astrology. And so Capricorn is a sign of like high achievement. So Capricorn, I noticed astrologers that have Capricorn energy, they if they have like a degree or receive some sort of honor or title, Capricorn is all about titles. They will definitely bring it up. Also, her Mercury's in the seventh house. And so that really helps her to be able to communicate things in a way to where, like you said, everybody can understand it. She wants to be relatable to people. That's why she teaches. And when she films her videos, she's like, okay, for those of you who are new to astrology or students of astrology, I'm about to say something that might be a little advanced, or she might give a warning like, okay, I'm about to say something controversial, or oh, I have to tell you guys the truth. It may not be pretty, but she gives warnings because she has that consideration for other people and what they might think or feel before she speaks on it. So that's Mercury in the seventh house. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
All right. Another thing I found exciting about her chart is that she has Uranus in the fifth house. And, even though people call the fifth house the house of pleasure, what it is more precisely, from my understanding, is a house of creativity, because we all get pleasure from those, exciting and meaningful creative moments in our life. And with Uranus there, the planet of individuality and freedom and chaos and certain things happening, and it's an outer planet, so it shows, where you fit in your group, in your generation, what's going to be your niche. And with hers being in Scorpio, makes her a bit of a weirdo. But it makes her not a weirdo. That's a compliment. I'm sure she takes that as a compliment. She's not normal. It makes her very unique. But it makes her want to experiment with life. I think added with her moon in Sagittarius, this makes her really just want to throw herself out there and just, hey, let's see what's going to happen. She likes to take new approach to things in life. Also, a need for expansion in the world. This can also show, that she's a bit of a risk taker. Again, original ideas comes with this placement, and being able to express herself with others, and just expressing herself within a unique group of people that are also a bit, they like to march to the beat of their own drum, basically. So also with that, now the closest aspect in her chart involves Uranus and her sun, and the orb is 0 degrees. I like to look at, aspects in people's chart and how close the aspect is. And this is the closest aspect in her chart. Um, it's really felt. Uranus and the sun deals with who we are, you know, our individuality, how we see ourselves. And this aspect really makes her restless. And I'm sure with her moon and Neptune in Sag and that Aries energy, she has, you know, she has really lived her life. And like her life can seem like one random event to the next. Um, this can make her a bit impulsive, on a, you know, more positive note, extremely self-willed. If someone tries to push her to do something she doesn't want to do, then it's really not. It's never gonna happen. She likes to make her own rules and then break them at the same time. This aspect also gives her a really strong intuition. So even though at some points, you know, her life may seem like a whirlwind, I'm sure she knew it was gonna all gonna work out for the better. So that's something that stood out to me.
Yeah, and that also leads into her sun in Aquarius in the eighth house.
Mm.
So Aquarius people are, you know, if you notice, if you look in the charts of a lot of people who are involved in like the media, like say talk show hosts and things like that, there's a lot of Aquarian energy, either Aquarius sun, moon, ascendant, 11th house, a lot of Aquarian energy in that industry. And she does do a lot of like her own hosting. She hosts her own show about astrology, synchronicity, and she does interview people and things like that. And Aquarius is all about bringing the masses together. I always look at the glyph of Aquarius, even though they say it's the water bearer and it might be water. To me, it looks like waves. Like it could be like waves of like electricity or like waves
Mm.
representing like the
Radio waves and things like that.
yeah, the airwaves. That's what I think of when I see the glyph of Aquarius, and she does embody that and put that out there. So, that's why she's so great with her videos and in the media. And also, Sun being in the eighth house, the eighth house, a lot of people know is the house of like the occult, and astrology does fall into the occult studies. And I know that she has mentioned before that how she got started being interested in astrology is her mother or a family member handed her a book that had to do with astrology and was like, here, you'd be good at this. She said that astrology, the interest in it and the practice of it runs in her family. And also, that does show with her having Pluto in the fourth house. Pluto in the fourth house could be scary and mean some scary things sometimes, but I look at it in her case as being something that contributes to astrology and the occult running in her family and her being introduced to it by family. Um, Also, Pluto in her fourth does make a trine aspect to her eighth house sun in Aquarius. So she is very, very intuitive, very extremely intuitive. Like, I always look at people's eyes and kind of tell things about them. And if you look in her eyes, she does have that look. Like some pounds do kind of have that look, like they can see. Eighth house people can see into your soul. Okay, eighth house, fourth house, 12th house can see into the soul of a person. So she does have that look like someone who could see really deep into the soul of a person. And being an Aquarius, she can see like everything, everything. So that really helps her to be a very intuitive and insightful astrologer.
Those shifty eyes.
Shifty. Let's go
um, Back to her sun again. I thought it was interesting that she's an Aquarius sun and she receives a strong aspect from Uranus, which is, ruled by Aquarius. So this tells me in her life and her personality, she's gone through many self-reinventions. The person who she was when she was 20 was not the same person she was when she was 21, 22, or 23, constantly changing her hair, just not wanting to remain the same, not wanting to remain the same person she was 5 minutes ago. But, you know, a constant need for just moving forward in progress. Remaining stagnant is, you know, probably would be the death of her. She needs exciting new things, new situations, new surroundings. It feeds her soul. It feeds who she is as a person. She needs things to sort of shake her up. And sometimes she needs to be, you know, the person shaking up other things, and, you know, getting people to just realize certain things about themselves. So, yeah, Uranus and that sun aspect, very close. So I'm pretty sure she's a person with many sides. I'll say that.
Yeah, and also with Uranus in the first house making a trine to her sun in Aquarius. Yeah, if you do look back at some of her older videos, she did change her hairstyle a lot, and that is very common with like Uranian, Aquarian people. So yeah, I did notice that too. Um, Also, I noticed. Let's see. Oh, did you want to touch on something before I get to the cool?
Go to the asteroids.
Okay, all right, all right. So, with all of the great astrologers that we look up to, that we study and that we learn from, I like to look in their chart and see if they have any significant um, asteroids that are associated with being a great astrologer. And Nadia has a lot of cool placements. She has the asteroid Celestia. You know, Celestia kind of translates into like things to do with celestial bodies up there. She has it collect. She has it conjunct the 11th house cusp. And you know, the 11th house rules like mass media and things like that. So she does spread information to do with, you know, celestial bodies with the masses. Also, she has the asteroid Urania. Urania is the muse of astronomy and Greek astrology, Greek mythology. My bad. She has it conjunct Saturn in the first house, and you know Saturn is all about like hard work and things like that. So she has done a lot of hard work and hard study and achieved a lot to do with studies that are astronomy and astrology. They kind of go hand in hand when it comes to you know, these asteroids. She also has the asteroid Amor, which you know means love, tightly conjunct her midhaven. So she is very loved. You know, the midhaven rules like your public persona, and she is very loved, and she does radiate love. You know, she always says, you know, universe is wise and loving, and so that's the kind of person she is. Celeste Child is another asteroid that has to do with studying the cosmos. She has it conjunct her Mercury by 1 degree. So that does show another reason why she's able to really speak about celestial things. Also, she has Stargazer, and I know she tells a story about her interest started in astrology by being a little girl just looking up at the stars at night. She didn't really know what it meant astrologically to, you know, look at the stars, but she was always fascinated by it. Well, Stargazer, the asteroid, is conjunct her north node along with Philosophia, which has to do with philosophy. They're both conjunct her north node. So her mission in life does include those things. She has astronomia, which is like the study of astronomy, which goes with astrology. Trine, the asteroid Celestia Child, and Mercury. So those all go together. Astro Wizard, she has trine her ascendant. And the very last one, I wanted to find one that means something personal to her. I know she said she really loves Mexico. She loves Cancun. She said that place has a special place in her heart. She can't stay away from there. She really loves it. Well, she has the asteroid named Mexico in her fourth house. So that does show that Mexico is home to her, you know? So those are the cool asteroids that I found in her chart that, you know, reflect some things about her personality and make her a great astrologer.
All right, and I wanted to add to that. Um, One of the biggest things I think that makes her such a great astrologer and also a well-known one is because she has a Pisces midheaven, which shows, you know, which career is best suited for you, um, where you should basically go. And with the Pisces midheaven, also with Jupiter and Aries there, I feel like she wants to teach people how to awaken spiritually. She wants to teach people the same things she was taught, but led her to finding her own path, not only to success, but to happiness. I think Pisces, the midheaven in Pisces is one of those midheavens that teaches people that anything is possible. Pisces is a sign of the dreamer, and we all have dreams for ourselves. We all have goals for ourselves. We all have things that we want to achieve. So with that being in her 10th house, she was able to dream it. And with that Jupiter and Aries energy backing it up, she was able to go out there and make it happen. Because we all want to be our own bosses. We all want to lead our own lives. So she's there as an inspiration. The Piscean midheaven is set to be a muse. They're set to be teachers. You draw inspiration from them, and they inspire people. So that's one of the things is that I find makes her a great astrologer, is because her midheaven is in Pisces.
Yeah, and Jupiter in the 10th house does help out a lot with her being looked at as a guru, because Jupiter is a planet of the guru and the teacher. So higher learning, teacher, higher teaching, higher knowledge, they're all a part of her career, which the 10th house rules.
All right, I have a quote about your North Node from my good friend Walter. He's great with astrology. I mean, if you check out my channel, we have done hangouts with each other, and he's just brilliant. And after looking at your chart, he writes, she must allow herself to be vulnerable and to have faith in what others can provide for her. Even though she has Aries as her 10th house cusp, and it's in a other people sector of the chart, meaning other people will inevitably play a strong role in her life. Moving forward, I would say her soul is here to bring healing and depth to those she can truly shine and showcase her talent of building self-worth and gathering resources. The world is her family, and she wants to shine a light and depth to all of us. So that's what he wrote. And that is our video.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I just want to say, Nadia, thank you so much for being a great inspiration to all of us. And you always look super fly in your videos, girl. Go ahead.
Them locations be just, I be hating. I'm in Nashville. The breeze, and it's hot down here. You have a nice breeze every day. But
Right.
thank you. Seriously, thank you for allowing me to do this. Thank you for being so open with your chart. Again, thank you for being an inspiration, and thank you for your contribution to the astrological community with your great body of work. I think it's amazing that you do both English language astrology and also astrology in Spanish. Amazing, amazing. So thank you again. And thank you everyone for watching, and bye. Anything you want to say?
Peace.
Oh, if you haven't seen, Pisces Moon Goddess also did the chart of Astrolata. That's something, I'm going to put her channel in the description box below. Check out Astrolata's chart. She covered it. She did a great job. And this is where we're signing off now. Bye.